You want to know which fantasy cards to go after in Hockey Ultimate Team in NHL 25. And in this video, we're going to try and break down which ones have the best shot at returning the most value. Now, a couple things I want to touch on about this event. Number one is it does look like this year we are getting a card from every team. Something that we've asked for years from EA when it comes to the fantasy event. And it finally looks like we are going to not only get a card from every team, but we're also going to be able to make that card from every team. The biggest change by far year over year from the fantasy event is that you are able to make literally every single card for a set cost. In years prior, we weren't able to make the base cards from the fantasy event. We just had to do a random set and hope and pray we got the card we wanted. What that does, however, is really devalue the master set player items from this event. There's really no difference in the master set items compared to the base items. So much so that I kind of wish they didn't give like master set card art to the base power-up icons that don't power up, the non-hologram icons, and they would have just given every single card from the fantasy event master set card art. But I'm not going to complain that we are able to legit make whatever card we want for a set price. Next, this is a timed event, meaning that you are only going to be able to make week 1 items during week 1. Once that timer runs out on the sets, you are not going to be able to make these cards anymore. Alternatively, it does look like you can only do the B&D set once. That is the 16 collectible set that will give you a random B&D fantasy item. And because they give out 16 fantasy collectibles, if you are not going to heavily invest in one card, I would recommend everyone at least try and get 16 fantasy collectibles to utilize this set once. However, if you don't really like anyone from week 1, I would not do it in week 1. I would wait for week 2. Was confirmed by EA in their blog post that it looks like you can only do this set one time. Lastly, if you are going to make a fantasy item, wait until the absolute last minute that you can. So what I mean by that is if you are interested in making a week 1 fantasy item, wait until all of the Thursday night games have happened. If you can, obviously, if you work or have other obligations and you can't, go ahead and make the player you want. The reason I state that is because someone could pop off for a hat trick on Thursday night, and then Friday they are going to get a massive boost in overall, and you might regret that you made a card on Monday when you could have just waited and seen that someone exploded during the event. Let's get into the tier list and the rankings I put together for this event. Now, there will be 4 tiers that we are going to have cards fall into. Number 1 is the theme team. It is going to be cards that I would literally only recommend if you are trying to make a theme team, and these cards fit the bill for that. And then we've got the B, A, and S tier cards. The S tier cards are the ones that I have a strong confidence in hitting 99, but more importantly, they are able to go into your lineup, something that you have to consider. This tier list is more for the players that are no money spent or don't have a ton of time to invest in the game, because the value of these cards are higher than any other card that you're potentially going to make, but they also start out at the lowest overall, meaning that if they can't get into your lineup and they need to score 10 goals to get into your lineup, you have to take that into account that you're not going to be able to use a million coin card and sometimes more for like 6 weeks. So being able to put a card in your lineup really puts them higher up in the tier list. And the last thing, normally I would just go through and give my own personal rankings, but because I don't watch all of these players and I haven't followed their careers in and out, what I did was I took the athletics projection ranking, so the analytics, and then I took in the attributes of the card, and then there's a few that have my own personal opinions. Let's start with the theme team tier. Starting first with our lone non-NHL player item, Sebastian Repo falls in the theme team tier, mainly because his career high in goals is 21, and he needs 22 this season to hit 99. So you are banking on him having a career year for his team in Liga, and outside of the European fan base, I don't know how much of that league that you watch, so he falls in the theme team tier. Next up in the theme team tier, we've got Kyle Palmieri from the New York Islanders. Coming in to start the event at 76 overall, analytically, he's projected out to finish at a 96 overall based on the amount of goals that, again, the analytics show that he is projected for. On top of that, his 30-goal season last year appears to be a crazy outlier, given that the prior 3 seasons, he didn't have more than 16. Now, he was often injured, and that's another thing we need to take into account, is that there is no guarantee that you will get a trade-in if a player gets injured. It is buyer beware. On top of that, He is 5'11", 196, which isn't terrible size, but he does start at 82 speed, 81 excel, 79 agility, so he's going to need a few more goals before he can at least keep up, and then his shot is all below 80 overall. He just needs a lot to go right, and don't have a lot of faith in that. Next up, we've got the Master Set John Carlson. He's always a very good card in HUT because of his size, but again, because he starts out so low, he is going to need a few goals before he is going to be able to be put into your lineup. On top of that, he needs 14 goals to get to 99, a mark that he hasn't hit since 21-22 when he had 17. Now, he plays on the top power play unit and will get a ton of opportunities, but again, because he starts out so low and you're just simply not going to be able to use him for a while, and he's projected to only get up to 96 overall, that is why he is in the theme team list. Next, we've got Alex Pietrangelo, and this is on the borderline because he's got great size and he already has 82 speed, 81 excel, which isn't great, but you can get by with that. Two-way defenseman does get his defensive awareness up to 84. He's only missed 10 goals, which would be what's required for him to get to 99, twice in the last 7 years, but last year he only had 4. And the other thing to keep in mind is that he hasn't really played a full season since 21-22 when he had 80. So there's a chance that he just misses a few games, which obviously makes it a little bit more difficult. I do think that there is a chance that he could pop off, and because he's such a good build, it's not the worst thing in the world, but again, he would be another guy that needs a lot to break right. And lastly, I'm going to get some flack for this. The Master Set Evgeny Malkin. The only reason that he is in the theme team list for me, again, this video is going to pertain more towards the players that don't have an insane amount of coins or resources to dump into their teams. It's simply how low he is statted out to start. At 72 overall, he has 77 speed, 76 acceleration, and 71 agility. To put that in perspective, guys, when they score a goal, skating only goes up by 0.5. Agility will go up the full 1. Every other stat will also go up +1, but skating is only 0.5, meaning that with 10 more goals, he is still only 81 agility. On top of that, he's probably at 82 speed, and that's with 10 more goals. I do want to mention, though, that at 99 overall, and there is a strong chance that he can get there, he is only statted out for 96, but he does look like he is having one of the better starts to his season in a long time. He's only statted out for 96 goals. But like I said, if you are HUT rich, this would have been the Jacob Chikrin card from last year, where it's not the safe bet, it's a little risky, and you're not going to be able to use him for quite some time, so you have to be okay with that. But at 99, if he gets there, this is one of the better cards that you're going to see from this event. On to the B tier, we've got Ryan O'Reilly. Now, analytics love him. He's actually statted out to finish at 101 overall based on the amount of goals he's projected for. I personally don't think he'll get to 99. I think that this stage of his career, with the addition of Stamkos and some of the other big name players they have on the Predators, I just don't think he's getting as much opportunities as he did before those additions. Again, I've only checked in on a few Predator games, but nonetheless, he also comes with really low skating to start, as well as his shot, meaning that you're not really going to use him in your lineup for a little while either. So again, this one's based more on analytics. He's actually one of the more favored players from this entire event, but I think that personally for me, he's in the B tier. Nino Niederreiter is up next, and he actually got a goal since this recording. But that being said, at 6'2", 218, great size, and 82 speed, 81 excel. Again, not great. It could be hidden on your fourth line right now, though. He is a pure winger. That being said, only projected for 95 overall when all is said and done at the end of the season. He also needs 5 goals to get 80 hand stats. Like, he is going to have a hard time just accepting passes with 75 offensive awareness. So this one is in the B tier for me. Sorry, Habs fans, but Michael Matheson is in the B tier for me. I think this should have been Slavkovsky, in all honesty. But nonetheless, he's got good size at 6'2", 196, and a great synergy with two-way defensemen, which helps out his defensive awareness, endurance, stick checking, all of that. 81 speed, 79 excel, 77 agility. Again, very low rated to start, so he's going to need a few goals to get into your lineup. Again, defensemen do go up +2 for every goal. He needs 12 to hit 99. That would be a career high. Now, he had 11 in 82 last year, but before last season, he only had 1 year in the prior 5 where he played more than 70 games. You run the real risk of injury with Michael Matheson, and he had an injury scare a few games ago as well. So buyer beware here. And the last card in the B tier is Claude Giroux. Again, analytically statted out to finish at 96 overall. At 5'11", 188, Not elite size, but it's fine. I think the real hindrance here is that Beauty Backhand has lost all of its value when it is on par with all the other abilities. When they switched the gold abilities to be 2 across the board, it really hurt some of the cheaper abilities from the prior years. Like Beauty Backhand was sneaky decent value. 83 speed, 82 excel makes him usable, which is why, in my opinion, he's in the B tier. And he's already got 77 face-offs, so with a couple more goals, you're going to be able to play him in your lineup at center. He needs 25 more goals to hit 99, and last year he finished with 21. The year prior was 35, but the last time that he hit 25 goals in a season, that's 2017-18 for the Philadelphia Flyers. Just don't see it happening, so that's why he's in the B tier. On to the A tier. We've got the 81 Charlie Coyle, 6'3", 218, great size, and already is on the borderline of being usable at 82 speed, 81 excel, and 81 agility. His shot power is in the 80s, hand stats are just on the cusp of 80 as well, and he is statted out to finish at 100 overall, meaning that he is projected to score more than enough goals to pass 99. If he is able to do so at 6'3", 218, makes him one of the better cards that you can get. Also in the A tier, again, another card for the rich player in huts or the ones that want to gamble, because at 99, Mason Marchment is easily going to be the best card available. 6'5", 216. The knock here is, again, his attributes right now aren't all that impressive. 82 speed, 80 excel, and agility. You're going to have an awfully hard time using that on the wing. And Crease Crasher, while it might be a fun ability, not worth the 2 ability points currently. He is statted out to finish at 98 overall, but again, it is going to take a few more goals from him before you can actually use him in your lineup. Again, I think this could be a really fun option. Now on to the S tier, and there's actually quite a few options. Starting first with the 82, Jesperi Kotkaniemi at 6'2", 201. Again, the one knock is that Beauty Backhand is not that good. However, he already has 84 speed, 85 excel. Playmaking forward gets his agility up to 88. His shot is all in the mid-80s as well, and he is statted out to finish at 99 overall. So when you include the fact that you could put him in your lineup right now and actually be usable, a few more goals, you could play him at center, just one of the better values from this release. All right, this one's all me. The 81 Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Analytically, statted out to be the worst among all of the Week 1 fantasy options, projecting to finish at 91 overall. Here's the thing. Eye test. Watched every Leaf game so far this season. They have made him the horse on the back end. He has been firing shots at a crazy clip, currently on pace for over 200. I don't expect that to continue. But with his career average shooting percentage at over 200 shots a game, he is well going to hit 99. Nonetheless, he is on the top power play unit, and again, it is the fact that he's 6'2", but already has enough stats to be in your lineup. 85 speed, 84 excel, 85 agility. Two-way defenseman gets his defensive awareness up to 84. Already has 81 body checking. His shot power is not great, but a couple more goals and you've got a really, really good defenseman on your hands. Again, this is more about opportunity and eye test because I've watched a lot of Leafs so far. I could just really see this card popping off one week for 3 goals in a week span, and he jumps up 6 overall. Travis Sanheim's up next, and this is one of the best options from the entire release. He is statted out to be 100 overall. Two-way defenseman, already has 85 speed, 84 excel and agility, 83 body checking, 85 defensive awareness, and he's 6'4", 222. If you did the account-bound set and got Travis Sanheim, you lucked out, in my opinion, quite a bit. Gus Forsling is up next at 6 foot 195. He is projected for a 101 overall finish, meaning that he's projected to be a big enough goal scorer to get over 99. He's got two-way defenseman to give him 81 defensive awareness, 82 speed, excel, 81 agility. So again, he needs a couple goals to kind of get into your lineup comfortably, but he's statted and projected for such a high rating. That's why he's in the S tier for me. Casey Middlestad also in the S tier, having a good start to the season, playmaking forward and goal make it snappy. Already at 86 speed, 85 excel, and playmaking forward will give him 88 agility. Mid-80s shooting, mid to high 80s hand stats, and 77 faceoffs. He's currently projected to finish at 99 overall. One of the best choices you can get, especially at forward from week 1. And then for everyone that played NHL 24, this is your Teuvo Teravainen, in my opinion. Connor Garland, who is the highest projected so far, projecting to finish at 101 overall. He is small at 5'10", 165, but he does have sniper forward, and he already has 88 speed, 88 excel, and 88 agility, making him one of the fastest cards in the game already, even if he goes a few weeks without scoring. His hand stats are in the mid 80s. And with Sniper Forward, his shot attributes are actually quite good as well. If you have enough resources, and the players don't matter in terms of, you don't care about making your favorite player from your favorite team, Connor Garland would be the card that I'd recommend if you were able to get 40 fantasy collectibles. He is the one that we should be chasing early on. Again, things could change, and don't make him until the last possible day that you can. But so far, he looks like he is the strongest selection from week 1. Now, a lot of people are asking, should you spend your 16 free fantasy hockey collectibles that you get via moments and objectives on this random fantasy hockey base player set? Honestly, there's a strong chance that the week 2 options are going to be better simply because they've had an extra week of games, so they are probably going to be a little higher in overall. We'll have to wait and see. And even if you do wait until week 2, it's not like you're going to miss out on the fantasy event. So if you don't have a lot of time to rush out and make week 1, that's okay. But there are quite a few strong options from week 1 that are in the S tier, in my opinion. You definitely want to take advantage of this, though. This is the best valued set that we might have ever gotten potentially from EA. The other thing to keep in mind here, guys, is that if you are able to make a fantasy card, I would really recommend it because of the progression in NHL 25. It has been slowed to a crawl. There is a real chance that we don't see 87s until December. And if you get a fantasy card like Connor Garland or Casey Middlestad, for example, or even Travis Sanheim, that scores a couple goals and they get up to 90 overall, because the rest of the player base in those cards are so much lower this year, the fantasy event has the chance to give us an early 99 or even like a 93 that has a far higher impact than it ever has. So keep that in mind. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on. I'll continue to give you updates throughout the fantasy hockey season as we now hunt for our first 99. I'll see you guys next time.